The following is a non-verdict-based research versus show. The stats of the individual characters are not taken into consideration when determining aspects of the fight. However, the characters themselves are going to be represented in their fullest capacity outside of stats. This is Versus Universe. The bonds of friendship run deep, but not as deep as those that few can claim to call their bestie, their oomphy, their ride or die. But what if your best friend also had the powers of time and space on their hands? Well, you better hope they're not bright enough for it to matter too much. Kazuma Kuwabara, the best friend of Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, and Okuyasu Nijimura, the best friend of Josuke Higashikata from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Let's begin! Life seems to be easier when you're younger. All you gotta worry about is school and your social life. And for a punk like Kazuma Kuwabara, school didn't matter at all to him. All that mattered was taking down another delinquent, Yusuke Urameshi. Time and time again, the pair fought against one another, and every single time, Yusuke won. This never-ending cycle would stop one day, however. The day Yusuke died. Kuwabara was noticeably heartbroken at this, crashing the boy's wake just to yell at his remains about a rematch that would never happen. However, Yusuke wasn't really dead. He was just mostly dead, and Kuwabara was, weirdly enough, one of the people that helped Yusuke become pastly dead, undead, let's just say alive again. This is because Kuwabara has a bit of a sixth sense for the spiritual. Anything ghostly or otherworldly, he has an acute ability to sniff it out. This sixth sense allowed him to help Yusuke become unalivened, and there was almost Yahweh, but they tricked us! But now the boy known as Yusuke Urameshi was back in the land of the living, and took up the mantle of the spirit detective. Somebody that watches over the lands of the spirit world, the demon world, and the human world. There are demons here, by the way. And angels. Kuwabara was kinda crushing on the Grim Reaper for a bit. But this experience served as a bit of a wake-up call to Kuwabara, who decided that from now on, he'd be a bit less antagonistic towards Urameshi. That's Hiei's job now. He followed Yusuke to a tournament that would decide who this old lady would make her pupil, and here he was put through test after test of strength, both of body and of mind. But in the actual fighting part of the tournament, Kuwabara was in a pinch, and it looked like he was about to die. Just then, something incredible happened. His spiritual ability manifested in his hand, no longer just a sixth sense as he thought it might be. Instead, this was the origin of his own technique, the Spirit Sword. But even with this increase in power, he couldn't get the overall victory in the tournament. But third place ain't so bad. He teamed up with Yusuke again to take on the four Saint Beasts alongside paroling demon world criminals Kurama and Hiei. Kurama was nice enough, but Hiei hated his guts, and he hated Hiei's guts. Lots of guts. But all four of them got the job done fairly simply, recognizing how well they worked as a team. This would be the origin of Team Urameshi, soon to take on all of the demon world. But for now, he'd go and wait, until Yusuke asked for his help saving a pretty ice lady, and suddenly he's all, let's fucking go! Kuwabara likes pretty girls, and you know what, I don't blame him. With his spirit sword, he helped Yusuke free the ice apparition Yukina from her captors, the Toguro brothers. Or at least, him and Yusuke thought they defeated the Toguro brothers. They didn't. It was part of a plan that's not really important, but what is important is that Kuwabara apparently really likes blue-haired girls, and wanted to start flirting with Yukina super hard. Unfortunately for him, Hiei was her brother, and he still hates Kuwabara. So no ice GF for him. Yet. Then, the younger Toguro brother revealed he was not dead yet to Yusuke, and gave him an ultimatum. Either participate in what was known as the Dark Tournament, or die. Yusuke needed 5 teammates to participate, so he grabbed Kurama, Hiei, and indeed Kuwabara, alongside somebody else that doesn't really matter, to take on the perils of the many demons they would face in the Dark Tournament. Kuwabara trained alongside Yusuke with his teacher, Genkai. You know, the one who started the tournament thing from earlier? It doesn't matter. See, the Dark Tournament had been a long-standing tradition in Demon World, and every year they pick out a certain group they want to participate in it. Or else. Yusuke was lucky enough to catch the eye of the younger Toguro brother when they were raiding that mansion, so he was drafted into a fight he wanted basically nothing to do with. But the tournament itself was no slouch. Demons from all across the realm wanted to get their hands on the new spirit detective and his friends, and it just so happens that Kuwabara is one of his friends. Kuwabara's main attack of the Spirit Sword was not as useful as you'd think for most of these fights, so we had to come up with new strategies on the fly. So the thing with a Spirit Sword is that it's kind of weird. Like, you expect it to be a sword made out of spiritual energy, and that's it. But if you think about it, since it's made of his energy, shouldn't he be able to change it? And the answer is no. Just kidding. It's yes. Yes. He can change it. Of course he can change it to his liking. He can make it longer if he needs to cut something at a distance. He can summon a second sword if he ever feels like dual wielding. God damn it, we're back on the 2-bit. And he can make it tag you and track you for a great deal of damage. Kuwabara is not a super dumb guy. He actually gets really creative with his use of the Spirit Sword. He's just kinda straightforward. This is exemplified in his moral code. He will fight for honor and love above all else. And he won't fight girls. I get it, man, I couldn't throw hands with him too. Girls, if you're watching this, you can kill me very easily. All these variations of the Spirit Sword, and more, served him well in the Dark Tournament. And although he lost a fair amount, he still fought more than any other member of Team Urameshi. This culminated in the final match against Team Toguro, and Kuwabara was set to take on the elder Toguro brother. Kinda seems like a weird matchup, but it was cool. Clip that out of context. Kuwabara, like most of the tournament's matches, was lagging behind Elder Toguro and nearly died multiple times, but luckily, he had a new tool to help him out. The Trial Sword. This guy allowed Kuwabara to concentrate all of his available energy into his manifested sword, but it still was nearly not enough to take down the older Toguro. So Kuwabara came up with a few new techniques, such as the Spirit Sword Shards, which launched out of his body and tried to strike at Toguro, but they weren't as strong as his actual sword, so it didn't do much damage. However, what would prove more effective would be the Spirit Fly Swatter, creating a perfect circle to squash the bug that is Elder Toguro, once and for all. Kuwabara claimed a victory for Team Urameshi, but everything was far from over. Yusuke still had to fight the younger Toguro brother, and when they did, it was bad. Yusuke was struggling to keep up, so in true bro fashion, Kuwabara decided he couldn't stand this anymore. He charged headfirst into battle against a certain loss, claiming one thing and one thing alone. That if a mulberry is a tree, then Kuwabara is a man. And he proved it. He sacrificed himself so that Yusuke could grow stronger. And Yusuke did end up defeating the younger Toguro brother after so much fighting. It was revealed that he actually spared Kuwabara because he admired his tenacity and truth to himself and his ideals. Doesn't change the fact that Kuwabara would have almost certainly died if he did this against anyone else, but hey, at least he's still kicking. They were kind of mean to him about it though. Like, chill out guys, he just died. Sheesh. But surprise, surprise, despite the younger Toguro brother dying at the hands of Yusuke, the older one was still kicking, and was found by someone named Shinobu Sensui. See, the rift between the spirit, human, and demon world is not exactly a straight line, it's more like a hazy wave that can be broken if people are petty enough. And Sensui's plan was to split the barrier between the human and demon world because he really hated humanity, like, a lot. But at the same time, Yusuke, Kurama, and Genkai were tracking down Sensui's lackeys and trying to figure out what his exact plan was. Kuwabara also wanted to help, but after the tournament his powers weren't working. Poor little guy. He just stayed at home with his sister, who is awesome. I don't have a joke here, I just really like her. But Sensui was using the powers of psychics to do his bidding, and one psychic named Seaman randomly showed up when Kuwabara was chilling and picked a fight. Kuwabara nearly died without his powers available to him, but fortunately, he didn't lose his ability to manifest a sword. Instead, he had gained a new ability, a new sword. This is the Dimension Sword. This sword is the same as the Spirit Sword with one major difference. It can cut through dimensions just as well as people. He used this ability to free the people he was with at the time, and also decided to spare Seaman as well. Good for you, Kuwabara, take the high road. However, through Seaman, Team Urameshi learned of Sensui's reasons for wanting the demon and human world to meld. Chapter Black. This was a videotape containing every single atrocity committed by humanity ever recorded onto it, and when Sensui saw it for the first time, he discovered that humanity deserved nothing but death for all its crimes. His thoughts, not mine. I like humanity generally. Although some people are probably heading to Chapter Black a lot nowadays. Some fucking people. Anyway, Kuwabara gaining the Dimension Sword was actually pivotal to Sensui's overall plan, because that sword would be the key to cut through the barrier in place between the two realms. They kidnapped Kuwabara when he wasn't expecting, and suddenly the Stop Sensui mission objective changed to save Kuwabara, and they went to Sensui's lair to do just that, including killing the elder Toguro brother once and for all, thanks Kurama. But Kuwabara wasn't going to go along with their plans. Obviously, he kinda doesn't hate humanity, but Yusuke and the gang showed up in time to deal with him properly anyway. and everyone except Yusuke got trapped in a psychic barrier, one that Kuwabara could cut if he could call in the Dimension Sword, but he had a bit of trouble at the time. He saw Yusuke getting beat to a bloody pulp, and thought back on all their trials and tribulations, and decided that no one was going to die then and there, and finally was able to call upon his Dimension Sword, breaking the psychic barrier. But unfortunately, they were all too late. Sensui had killed Yusuke. So, you gonna kiss him to bring him back this time, Kuwabara? Oh no, you all are going to follow him into the demon world by breaking the barrier that you should never have broken. You know what? Emotions were heightened, it's fine. It was a rushed decision. Even the might of Kuwabara with his Dimension Sword, Hiei with the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, and Kurama with his Yoko form did not stand a chance against Sensui. See, demons and humans have rankings in this world, with the lowest rank being E and the highest being S. Sonic? But the remaining fighters on Team Urameshi were all A class in strength, while Sensui was an upper S class. They did not stand a chance against him, but stood their ground all the same. That is, until Yusuke showed up with some Raditz ass hair and mopped the floor with Sensui. Yeah, Yusuke didn't really die. I mean, he did die, but he didn't die. He's alive, unalivened. And with this power, Sensui was no match for Yusuke, and the latter defeated him with relative ease. Kuwabara was relieved that Urameshi was still alive, and Kurama and Hiei simply laughed at the absurdity of the entire situation. This would be the end of Kazuma Kuwabara's adventures with Yusuke Urameshi, as his sister convinced him that he should study so that he can attend a good high school. Yeah, these boys are middle schoolers, isn't that fucking crazy? But even then, in his absence, Kuwabara did grow stronger, evolving to the second S-class human ever in existence, alongside Sensui. The powers of Kuwabara are those of compassion, love, and pride. But above all else, he wants the best for his friends and teammates, Kurama, Hiei, and especially Yusuke Urameshi. But if you threaten him, or even worse, them, Kazuma Kuwabara will prove to you what it means to be a man among men.
There's no stopping him. And if I'm gonna go now, I'm gonna go charging at full speed! A mulberry is a tree, Kuwabara is a man, and I'll prove it. We all have to die when our time comes, but if we do our duty, we don't got regrets. So taste a little piece of my sword, Tagoro.
The lineage of the Joestars goes back for decades, all the way to the first JoJo, Jonathan Joestar. But for every single JoJo that exists in the vast history of the world and beyond, there is also the Jo Bro, the best friend of the JoJo that stands by them no matter what. The fourth JoJo, Josuke Higashikata, was residing in his hometown of Morio when the third JoJo, Jotaro Kujo, showed up and revealed to him a secret he kinda knew about but wasn't exactly aware of. Josuke had a stand. This was because of the bloodline that resided in Josuke, but there was another way to awaken a stand. A way that both of them would be all too familiar with soon enough. The power of the arrow. This power was being wielded by somebody in Morio who kept randomly shooting people and giving them stands. Rude. These people were the Nijimura brothers, Keicho and Okuyasu. While Josuke was randomly hanging out with his knob Koichi, don't kill me Koichi stance, the boy got a fucking arrow in him and now he's dying. Awesome, and who should step out but Okuyasu Nijimura. Feeling a bit invincible, Okuyasu decided to take on Josuke and his crazy diamond, with his own stand, the hand. So what are stands exactly? Well, they're little fellas that normal people can't see, but other stand users can. And they all got special abilities, too! The abilities are dependent upon the user, but Okuyasu just so happens to have one of the most busted abilities in all of JoJo's. Through the use of the hand's right hand specifically, Okuyasu can erase the space that the hand just swiped around. He legitimately erases space. He can use this to close in on his opponents, or make his opponents close in on him. Or as a bit of a fast travel mechanic, but really, this is one of the most broken stand abilities to ever be conceived. Last time I talked about stands was Giorno and Gold Experience Requiem, and I think this is better. So what's the downside? Well, it's Okuyasu himself. He's not exactly the brightest tool in the shed and has trouble using his ability to its fullest potential. That's why, despite Crazy Diamond having an overall less effective ability against Okuyasu, Josuke ended up winning their fight and managed to press on to Okuyasu's older brother Keicho. In the fight, Keicho accidentally damaged his younger brother, leading Josuke to heal Okuyasu with his stand ability. And also, the older brother revealed their backstory to Josuke. Their father was an underling of Dio. You know, the guy that fucks, who tried to awaken a stand of his own and ended up like this. Little Goomba looking ass man. Green Goomba. So, like, because the whole stand thing didn't work out for their dad, and also vampire DNA, but that's a whole other fucking story, the two brothers, mostly Keicho, he's the smart one, came up with a plan to help their dad. Make a stand user that can kill him so that he can be put out of his misery. Jesus Christ, this got really fucking dark out of nowhere. And speaking of dark, before Keicho could realize that Josuke can maybe help their dad, he got killed as well by this weird fucking stand called Red Hot Chili Pepper. This made Okuyasu want revenge against the stand and stand user, who killed his brother. But first and foremost, he was planning to chill with his new bro, Josuke. He ate some Italian food, it was pretty awesome. Now he doesn't shit terribly. In the quest to find his brother's murderer, the gang of Josuke, Koichi, who now had his own stand thanks to the arrow, Okuyasu, and Jotaro were hot on the trail of Red Hot Chili Pepper. They managed to find where the stand was hiding, and Okuyasu, being the dummy he is, went off after him by himself. And if there's one thing you need to know about Okuyasu, it's that he should never be by himself. Because he'll be a stupid little piss baby and get tricked real easily, like he did here by using his ability to reveal power lines so that Red Hot Chili Pepper could get away. Stupid idiot. But it was alright, because in due time, Josuke and Koichi found the actual stand user and beat his ass up. But he got away, and was on a boat with known sexual deviant, Joseph Joestar, who is actually Josuke's father! Yeah, the Joestar family tree is kinda screwy. But Okuyasu was tasked with making sure Joseph made it into Mario okay, until Red Hot Chili Pepper's stand user, Akira Otoishi, tried to get one up on him and kill both Okuyasu and Joseph. But Okuyasu, realizing that his brother couldn't be there for him anymore and that from now on he needed to make his own decisions, decided to punch one of the guards accompanying Joseph. Did he know that this guard was Akira in a disguise? No! He was just going to punch them both and see what happened. Luckily for him, stand users are inexplicably drawn to other stand users. That's why Morio, in spite of having a relatively small population, has an abundance of stand users. But Okuyasu did manage to get the better of his brother's killer, and was the main reason why he was even caught in the first place, so you know, good job, Okuyasu. But life went on for Okuyasu, as it tends to do. Little did he know that there was a far greater evil lurking in Morio. And I'm not talking about Rohan Kishibe, although maybe I am. Nah, but Okuyasu, after defeating Otoishi, actually made a brand new friend in Shigeki Oyangu, otherwise known as Shigechi. After a bit of a scuffle involving accidental underage drinking, don't ask, the trio were all hanging out one day and Shigechi accidentally swapped lunches with this guy. Don't know how bad it could be, maybe just take the L and eat his lunches instead. Oh, it's a human hand. A woman's hand. But not the hand. That's Okuyasu's thing. And Shigechi, poor guy, was completely outmatched by this dude's stand, Killer Queen. This was Yoshikage Akira, the other evil in Morio. Akira seems kinda tame now, doesn't he? In their fight, Shigechi barely managed to get away from Killer Queen's deadly explosions, and stumbled across the schoolroom where Josuke and Okuyasu were hanging out. But unfortunately for him, Killer Queen had already touched the doorknob, and the boy died right then and there, on the spot. Josuke and Okuyasu found Shigekio's stand, Harvest, carrying a button from Kira's suit. This was enough to start the search for Yoshikage Kira, the scourge of Morio that really likes girls' hands. So let's take a break from the plot to discuss stands a little bit more. Every stand, despite usually having an ability that will work at least once, is not on an even playing field. Some stands are just not that great, or are extremely situational. Thankfully, Araki has given us 6 stats that every stand abides by: power, speed, range, durability, precision, and potential, ranked from E to A. The hand itself does not have a single stat with an A, and it's why Josuke was able to beat him so effectively. His stand was just physically stronger. It can happen. Stands also come in different varieties, such as automatic, close range, and long range, but the hand is pretty simple. It's a close range attack type stand that doesn't have as much power as, say, Josuke's Crazy Diamond or Jotaro's Star Platinum, but makes up for it by its insanely broken ability. However, the swiping motion is noticeably slower than the actual punches and kicks that the hand can deal out, so an opponent with a great speed can evade the attack if they see it coming. This is how Red Hot Chili Pepper managed to outwit Okuyasu. He simply dodged all the hand's erasing attempts. If an opponent is faster than the hand's hand, and they know about its ability, then it'll be pretty easy to defeat Okuyasu. Luckily, the boy is almost always with Josuke and his Crazy Diamond, and Crazy Diamond's ability to heal people is fucking busted. So no matter what, if Okuyasu gets himself into a skirmish, Josuke will be there to heal him right up. And speaking of, the two boys were about to put an end to Kira's murder spree, but he took his face off with the power of another stand, and now roams Morio freely once more, despite Shigechi's sacrifice leading them all to the right place. Yoshikage Kira took on the identity of Kosaku Kawajiri, and the Morio gang was on the hunt to find out the identity of the killer. Luckily enough, the guy whose life he took over's son started suspecting him a whole bunch, and eventually managed to reach Josuke and Okuyasu. Finally, Yoshikage Kira would meet his match. But Kira is a great deal smarter than Okuyasu and realized his ability would cause him great trouble, so he took him out. Despite Josuke healing him, Okuyasu has appeared to have died. Fast forward a little bit and Josuke is on his last legs. It looks like Kira is about to win, and all of their efforts against this killer would be for nothing. That is, until a lone man stood against him. Okuyasu Nijimura. He swiped away a projectile that Kira laced with an explosive, rendering his main power of attack useless against everyone. Okuyasu recalled that when he died, he had a dream. He saw a light that turned out to be his brother, and Keicho asked him something. Where do you want to go? But despite loving his brother, Okuyasu knew where he wanted to be. In Morio, with his friends. And so, he just said no to death. And with his ability, he disarmed Kira, and now Josuke, Koichi, Jotaro, Rohan, and Okuyasu all corner the man. Unable to defend himself, he fought until his bitter end, which came by way of an ambulance backing itself up and crushing his head. Stand users are still human, stuff like that can happen. In spite of still having a booger for a father, Okuyasu was relieved that this was finally over, and went about his days still looking for someone to help his dad, as well as taking care of that plant thing he got from Kira's stand. And of course, remained friends with Josuke Higashikata and Koichi Hirose, but mainly Josuke. But if you're an enemy stand user, or just an asshole who makes fun of Josuke's hair, you better be prepared to face the might of the hand and its user, Okuyasu Nijimura.
I figured it out! The stand user has to be you! Nobody fools me twice! Don't ever forget that, you dumbass!
We open to a shot of the streets of Morio, the semi-busy traffic on the streets passing by Okuyasu Nijimura as he walks, in his signature slouched form, on the sidewalk. As he strolls along, Josuke Higashikata starts striding alongside him.
Oi, Josuke! You hear about those people who are vacationing here?
How the hell would I know about that?
Well, I don't know. I just got this feeling that they might be stand users.
Random people showing up just to see us? I don't buy it.
It's just a hunch. Cut me some slack.
Alright, Okuyasu, whatever you say.
Hey, don't just ignore me, you dick.
At the same time that conversation is happening, two other teenagers are strolling down the same sidewalk in the opposite direction. Yusuke Urameshi and his friend, Kazuma Kuwabara.
Urameshi, this whole thing seems weird.
Relax, Kuwabara. All we gotta do is find out where this spirit energy is coming from. Piece of cake.
That's the thing, Urameshi. I sense a lot of it. All across this town.
That's bizarre. Are you sure?
Well, yeah, but in some areas it's a lot stronger.
Well, we should probably start checking out where it's strongest.
Well, this'll be easy then. Because the strongest energy I'm sensing is coming from those two straight ahead of us.
Just as Kuwabara says this, the pairs of friends stop and begin conversing with each other.
So, what?
What's what is what you've got.
What do I got?
You know damn well what you've got.
Okuyasu, do you know what he's talking about?
I have no idea.
To hell with words! I'm gonna take you on! You and that stupid haircut!
The light leaves Josuke's eyes as rage consumes his vision.
Do you wanna say that again?
I'll say it all day, pumpa douche!
I'll kill you! Bastard!
The two scuffle away from Okuyasu and Kuwabara, who are left standing there, a bit awkwardly, and staring at each other, bewildered.
So I guess I gotta fight you too.
Yeah, might as well. It's been a while since I've seen some action.
Kuwabara then punches Okuyasu straight in the face.
Never let your guard down.
Man, that really hurt. You asshole.
Plenty more where that came from.
Fine then. Hope you don't mind if I get serious.
Okuyasu then tries to fight Kuwabara hand to hand, but the more experienced combatant expertly blocks every single one of Okuyasu's strikes.
Your moves are super predictable. You clearly don't know how to use your power. This'll be easy.
Kuwabara then blocks another blow from Okuyasu that leaves his stomach wide open for a gut check, which Kuwabara takes advantage of. As his fist twists itself on the Morio delinquent's abs, spittle escapes Okuyasu's mouth, and the wind in his breath fades for a fraction of a second before he composes himself again.
You think I don't know how to use my power? Bastard, I'll show you the hand!
Okuyasu then summons his stand, the Hand, to punch Kuwabara in his face. He didn't expect to be punched by what appears to be thin air, so the hit connects and sends Kuwabara flying this time instead.
What the hell was that?
That was the power of my stand. The hand!
Your stand?
My stand.
I know you're standing.
That's not what that means.
Yeah, well, I'm not standing. I'm running!
What?
Kuwabara then runs at insanely fast speeds to catch up with Okuyasu, before meeting him face to face again.
I'm gonna have to step up my game. Spirit Sword!
A beam of orange light starts to emanate from Kuwabara's hands, taking the form of a saber the more it extends. Okuyasu is taken aback by this.
What kind of stand power is this?
I told you, I'm not standing!
Kuwabara then swings the blade Okuyasu's way, before the Morio delinquent catches it with his stand. This action repeats itself numerous times at supersonic speeds, before Okuyasu activates the hand's signature ability and erases some of the space where the spirit sword resided. As such, the sword shortened for a quick second, before Kuwabara noticed and elongated it further.
Gah! What the hell was that?
That's my stand's ability. I don't got a clue where it said stuff, but I know when I erase it, it's gone forever.
Then let's play this more carefully. Sword, get longer!
And as Kuwabara commands, the spirit sword elongates to twice the size it just was, and while Kuwabara steps back to gain some distance, his blade still reaches Okuyasu and his stand.
Idiot! Just because you're farther away doesn't mean I'm done with you!
Okuyasu then sends his stand out to block the blows dealt by Kuwabara's spirit sword, as the latter steps back out of the hand's range. However, Okuyasu carefully chooses his strikes and manages to close the distance between himself and Kuwabara by using his stand's ability. He then tries to use the ability on Kuwabara himself, but the redhead delinquent manages to evade it in the nick of time, right before he would graze his skin.
Damn it! You won't get the better of me next time!
There won't be a next time, buddy. Not once I'm done with you.
Kuwabara, as he says this, thinks to himself.
What an intense energy. I can sense it earlier, but being this close to the sky, it's unreal. It's like I can feel his soul. Makes it easier to dodge his attacks though. I can basically see that last one.
You done thinking, man? We're still in a fight, you know.
Huh? Oh yeah, sorry. I'll pummel you a little to make it up to you.
Kuwabara then starts to swing a punch in Okuyasu's way, but the Morio resident blocks it easily with his stand. Sensing the energy of the hand, Kuwabara tries a direct assault on it with his spirit sword, and to Okuyasu's surprise, it works.
How? You ain't a stand user. How the hell are you able to do that?
Spirit energy. That's all it is. So the tip was right after all.
What the hell are you talking about?
Sorry, I don't gotta tell you squat. Stay put so I can put you down.
Okuyasu then attempts to retreat with the hand, but Kuwabara extends his spirit sword in a way that curves and bends in accordance to where he sees Okuyasu going, and ends up tagging him fairly easily.
Told ya.
Good. I need to regroup. Bastard! He comes into my home. Wait, my home. That's it. I know this town way better than he does. I'll hide somewhere I know he can't see me, and then I ambush him. It's bound door.
Okuyasu then begins to simply run away, not with his stand, but with his legs.
Hey, wait up!
Kuwabara then follows him into a secluded part of Morio with no traffic, unlike the sidewalk where they were duking it out.
A trick? What, does he think I'm stupid?
Okuyasu then rushes out of a nearby alley at Kuwabara, and the former rushes his left fist with his stand at the latter, before Kuwabara easily blocks it.
That all you got? I'm still sitting pretty here.
The hand!
Then, cascading above him, Kuwabara notices the hand's right palm activating its signature technique, and in the action of blocking Okuyasu's attack, he did not notice the other hand readying its action. Stunned speechless, Kuwabara is powerless and accepts the loss of this interaction.
Wait!
The hand's ability envelops Kuwabara, leading him to what appears to be another dimension of nothing but blackness.
This is it, huh?
Kuwabara begins contemplating his friendships, his struggles, and his life in general, and comes to a consensus. He is not going to give up that easily.
No, I can beat this. I can beat him. I just have to play a little dirtier, that's all. Prepare yourself for Kazuma Kuwabara, man among men. Dimension Sword!
Kuwabara then uses the Dimension Sword to cut himself free of the void the hand trapped him in, returning back to the area of Morio he was in previously.
What? How the hell are you back?
Didn't I tell ya? No, I guess I didn't. I'm Kazuma Kuwabara, man among men. You're pretty stupid if you think a trick like that would work on me. You're a dummy among dummies!
You bastard!
Okuyasu then attempts to attack Kuwabara, various kicks from the hand reaching the redhead delinquent. Fortunately, his use of the Dimension Sword made his spiritual senses fatigued, so the hand was able to do a fair amount of damage. Not to be outdone, however, Kuwabara stretches out his hand to release fragments of energy towards Okuyasu. He has used his Spirit Sword shards to try and attack at long range.
Try inflicting that, dummy!
Okuyasu then deflects the attack with ease.
Guess I didn't put as much juice in that as I thought I did.
I've just had about enough of you. My Sid's ability won't work on you. You have that annoying sword. It's so irritating.
Stand, huh? Is that what you call that weird thing I'm sensing?
You mean you don't know? I thought you came here looking for us.
Us? Oh, right. That kid with the hair like mine.
So you came here to find us, but you don't even know what a stand is? You some kind of idiot.
Hey, buddy. All I know is that I'm here to find someone with abnormally high spirit energy and take him down. I didn't expect a town full of folks like that. So we just went to the strongest thing I was sensing, which was you two. But now I get it. You have an amazing power, but you're slacking off with it. So either get it together or get moving! I don't have time to deal with you otherwise!
Okuyasu hears these words and takes them to heart, delivering a similarly heartfelt but ultimately blunt speech.
I'm not smart. I know that. I don't use my ability that well. I know that too. Hell, you know more about where it sends stuff than I do. But to be looked down upon, like I'm trash, I'll never forgive you for that. Kazuma Kuwabara, you claim to be a man amongst men. Well then, Okuyasu Nijimura will be one too. Not to win, not for pride, but for glory. I'm gonna beat you down. If I didn't try, I'd never forgive myself!
Kuwabara smirks, seeing the effects his words had on Okuyasu's resolve to carry out this fight, a new fire burning in the boy's heart.
That's the spirit! Give me all you've got, Nijimura! Dimension Sword!
The hand!
As the two use their separate dimension-cutting attacks to smash into each other, it's clear that whichever way this meeting of the minds goes, it'll end in complete and total victory for one of them. As the two meet in the middle of their impromptu teleportation, their two heads collide into each other, leaving them both to be knocked on the floor by the resounding thunk on their heads. Fairly concussed, they both get back up on their legs.
Ow! That really hurt.
Oh, usually my head hurts, but not like this. Ow!
Hey, Nijimura. Wanna call this a draw? I'm pretty beat, and I don't think we gotta fight anymore.
Okuyasu considers this offer alongside the concussion he's currently suffering from, and makes a, quite frankly, stupid decision.
No, I'm not done! The hand!
Oh, crap!
On instinct, the remaining energy that's still in Kuwabara's body reforms into something different. something it hasn't in a very long time. The spirit fly swatter. He takes the swatter and bats at Okuyasu, knocking the boy unconscious as Kuwabara lays there, victorious.
The fly swatter? Seriously? That wasn't a very cool finishing move. Oh well.
Kuwabara then forces himself to stand up, against the intense migraine the headbutt earlier caused him, and glances at the distance.
Still no sign of Urameshi. Must still be with that pompadour kid. Oh crap! He's gotta have powers like this guy did! I better go check on him!
But as Kuwabara finishes that sentence, a bloodied Yusuke reappears to greet Kuwabara for the first time since they both began their fights.
Oh hey, Kuwabara, you're conscious. I'm glad to see that.
What, you think I couldn't take a punk like him? It was no problem.
Yeah, that asshole was no joke. Had like a power I couldn't see. Made fighting him really annoying. But I just kept my distance and eventually I won. Guy didn't really have much actual combat training, so it was a cinch. How about this guy? Did he put up much of a fight?
Kuwabara thinks back to the events that transpired, and comes to a realization. He did not have the vocabulary to describe what had happened, so he elected to lie.
This guy? Please. Barely even needed my spirit sword to wipe the floor with him.
Kuwabara, you have a bump on your head the size of your hair. Clearly you struggled a little bit.
Yeah, just a little, okay? That's all.
Still, I have a feeling this isn't the end of our little romp in this town.
You said it. But for now, I just want to return back to our hotel. I'm tired.
What, from the non-fight?
Get it, Urameshi!
As the sun fades over the town of Morio, the two delinquents find their way back to the hotel they're staying at, right next to the residence of Jotaro Kujo. Still, it was all but apparent that Kazuma Kuwabara had felt a kinship with Okuyasu Nijimura, however brief it was, and the next time the two met, perhaps it would be as friends instead of enemies. All in a day's work for a man among men. As the two meet in the middle of their impromptu teleportation, their two heads collide into each other, leaving them both to be knocked on the floor by the resounding thunk on their heads. Fairly concussed, they both get back up on their legs.
Ow! That really hurt.
Oh, usually my head hurts, but not like this. Ow.
Hey, Nijimura. Wanna call this a draw? I'm pretty beat, and I don't think we gotta fight anymore.
Okuyasu considers this offer alongside the concussion he's currently suffering from, and makes a, quite frankly, stupid decision.
No, I'm not done! The hand!
Oh, crap!
On instinct, the remaining energy that's still in Kuwabara's body reforms into something familiar. The spirit sword, however, is no match for the hand swing on his chest, and Kuwabara is blown back towards the ground, unconscious.
Not so tough now, are ya, asshole? Oh man, I shouldn't yell. This headache is killing me.
Okuyasu then looks back at the entrance to the alleyway, looking for his friend.
Now where the hell is Josuke? If it took longer than me to take care of the green creep, I swear.
Just then, Okuyasu sees Josuke on the horizon, rushing towards his best friend.
Huh? Oh hey, Okuyasu! Did you finish your fight?
Yeah. Man, that was tough.
Tell me about it. These guys were no joke. That guy gave me a lot of trouble. He kept dodging my attacks somehow, almost on instinct. But I managed to outlast him and back him into a corner. How about this guy? Any different?
Josuke, you're not gonna believe this. I hit this guy with the hand's abilities, and he came back.
Josuke is awestruck at the sheer mention of that being a possibility.
That can happen?
Yeah, he had like this sword that let him... well, I don't really know, but we can ask him when he wakes up. It was weirdly cool.
Could he see your stand?
No, but he could damage it.
That's the weird thing. My guy did the same thing too. We really ought to have Jotaro talk to these guys and see if he knows anything.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
As he says that, Josuke notices Okuyasu disassociating for a second and inquires.
You good, man?
Huh? Oh, yeah, just thinking.
About what?
It was something that guy said. He said he was a man amongst men, and that I wasn't worth his time. But I want to be better. I want to be a man amongst men too, but I can't. I'm too stupid.
Okuyasu, don't let what he said bother you. You proved him wrong. You beat him.
Huh? Yeah, I guess I did. I am a man amongst men. And I got the proof. Take that, Kazuma Kuwabara, in your face!
As he gloats at his unconscious foe, the sun fades over the Morio sky, leading into nightfall and the quiet that it brings. The adventure for these two, no, these four, is far from over, but there's hope that, maybe, they can work together instead of fighting each other again. Hand in hand. So this is maybe my favorite fight I've written for the show so far. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. But now let's discuss some of the nitty-gritty details. For instance, Kuwabara could damage the hand. Why? Well, because stands are manifestations based around a person's soul. In other words, their aura. Which is a similar enough concept to spirit energy where I thought I could get away with Kuwabara actually managing to hurt the hand. Also, because their identities as characters are so tied to the people they call their best friend, or rival in Kuwabara's case, tsundere-ass boy, it only made sense for both Yusuke and Josuke to be there. Besides, if they ever come back in the series, I have voice actors for them now. Mwahaha. Other than that, the only thing I can think people might be a little curious about is the scene where the hand completely envelops Kuwabara. See, in my head, it's extremely similar to the psychics Kuwabara fought that worked under Sensui, and he could cut through their territories easily with the Dimension Sword. And part of the fun of this fight is having two abilities that have extremely similar use cases clashing with each other, even if Kuwabara is more than his Dimension Sword and Okuyasu is more than his hand-scraping attack. So let me know, what was your favorite part of the fight? Tell me in the comments below and I'll see you in the next episode of Versus Universe. Which is... shit. What the fuck do I make the finale? I don't know what to make this final matchup, fellas. Any ideas? I don't know, man. I'm just here on the corkboard. Got all of these push pins. And nothing to show for it. Yeah. I have not got a single idea. What do we like? You know who I like? Asexuals. Yeah, I sure do love those aces. Isn't it offensive if we're not asexual? I think it's fine, honestly. We're gonna need to lawyer up. Oh man, I hate attorneys. What do you think, white shirt Skye? I don't know, man. I'm just a little guy. Why haven't we killed them yet? Now wait, hold up. Let them cook. We like anime, right? With girls. No, that's wrong. We like boys. And girls. Wait. Ace? Attorney? No, that's wrong. Dungle Bungle! I did not say Dungle Bungle. I think I have an idea. What?